Folks, I am happy to report that Luis Castillo is back. And you know what? So is Julio Rodriguez. Let's talk about it here on the Locked On Mariners postgame show.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. This is the Locked On Mariners postgame show. I'm your host, Trident. It is May 27th, 2023, and your Seattle Mariners have defeated the Pittsburgh Pirates by a score of 5-0 this afternoon at T-Mobile Park, improving their 2023 record to 27-25 on the back of a brilliant outing from Luis Castillo, who strikes out a season-high 10 in this one. And the Mariners bats also flipping the script on a Pirates team that exploded for 11 runs off of George Kirby and this Mariners pitching staff last night. It was all Mariners all afternoon long in those sweet Northwest green uniforms, rocking them out in the daylight. Not often we see those bad boys out in the daylight, and I gotta say, pretty nice look for them. I'm also a pretty big fan of the rare Saturday afternoon start time at T-Mobile Park. Really appreciate that as someone who lives in the Eastern time zone. Apologies that this episode is coming out a little bit later than I'm sure some of you would have hoped if you were anticipating a post-game show, but I did want to give you guys a show because this was a pretty fun game. I got some thoughts on Castillo. I want to talk a little bit about this offense as well. I also want to talk about game 3 of this series, the rubber match that's going to happen tomorrow between these two teams, because the Pirates pitching situation is kind of interesting heading into that one. Also, as you can see, I'm not in my normal recording area. I'm currently house sitting. So please excuse the fairly poor lighting in here. And also, Colby went to today's game, so he's unavailable to record with me tonight. But he did say that even though he's also planning on going to the game tomorrow, that he might actually be able to record tomorrow if the Mariners win and we do a post-game show. So, yeah. All right, before we get into everything, I got a couple of sponsors that I want to tell you about, starting with Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, and chances are you're one of them. Rocket Money will quickly and easily find your subscriptions for you, and for any you don't want to pay for anymore, just hit cancel and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. It's that easy. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorize your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. So please stop throwing your money away. Did you hear that number? $720 a year in savings. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/lockedonmlb. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedonmlb. rocketmoney.com/lockedonmlb. This episode of the Locked On Mariners postgame show is also brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. And with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. So forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So, as I said at the top of the show, it appears that Luis Castillo is all the way back after a rough 5 outing stretch. He had a pretty great start against the Athletics, but it's the Athletics. Want to see it against a better lineup. And there really was no better lineup to put that to the test than the one that, again, put up 11 runs and hit 7 home runs last night at T-Mobile Park in the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Castillo just shredded right through them. It was a completely different story from game 1 to game 2 for this Pirates offense. They finished the day with just 4 hard hit balls, all against Castillo, just 2 hits on the day, and an expected batting average of 0.77. For Castillo, specifically 6 innings pitched, just 1 hit allowed, 10 strikeouts, a season high, as I mentioned, 2 walks, had some iffy command at times in this game. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment here. 99 pitches, and again, 4 hard hit balls. Before we dive more into Castillo, tip of the hat to this Mariners bullpen. Gabe Spire, Matt Brash, Trevor Gott, Justin Topa. They came in over the last 3 innings of this game and struck out 7 more Pirates. The Pirates struck out 17 times this afternoon. Wild. So Castillo this afternoon, 64 strikes on 99 pitches. The fastball command at times was a little all over the place. There was, of course, that at bat against, or plate appearance rather, against Jason DeLay, where he had him 2-2 and then widely missed the strike zone with back-to-back fastballs to walk DeLay. That was one of his 2 walks on the afternoon. Overall, 45 fastballs, 23 sliders, 16 changeups. We've been seeing a changeup heavy approach from Castillo over his last couple starts. That wasn't necessarily the case today. Again, his 3rd most used pitch. He threw the sinker 15 times. So changeup was almost his least used pitch out of his 4 offerings this afternoon. The fastball and the sinker were both ticked up in velocity by about a 1.5 miles per hour. So that was really nice to see. He had as much as I was talking about the iffy command on the fastball, when he was able to find the strike zone with it, he was dominating with it. He ended up inducing a 36% called strike plus whiff rate on that pitch, but it was really the slider this afternoon that was eating 61% called strike plus whiff rate on his 23 sliders. That's 5 whiffs, 9 called strikes, 14 called strikes plus whiffs in total on those 23 pitches. Ridiculous pitch this afternoon for Castillo. Changeup also ate a bit, 38% called strike plus whiff rate, including 5 whiffs. He had 24 whiffs in total this afternoon. Pirates just could not do anything against him. And diving a little bit deeper into the box score here, Brian Reynolds strikes out twice. Carlos Santana strikes out 3 times. Jack Sawinski strikes out 3 times. Brian Hayes strikes out 3 times. Jason DeLay strikes out 2 times. These guys just looked utterly confused against the Mariners pitching staff. So great bounce back for the Mariners pitching staff that had a rare blow up last night. And again, conversation about what balls were used and all that stuff. I'm sure you guys can debate that down below. But nevertheless, the Mariners are back in the win column. And that wasn't without a really nice day from the offense. A second consecutive really good day at the dish for the Mariners against this Pirates pitching staff. We're going to be talking about them in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners postgame show is brought to you by Ultimate Baseball GM. Ever dreamed of becoming an MLB GM and managing your professional baseball franchise? Well, your dream can come true, and this game is definitely for you. Manage every strategic aspect of your team, play through the season, and lead your team to glory. You're responsible for hiring the right coaches and staff, managing team finances, scouting and drafting players, managing difficult personalities, navigating your franchise through free agency, and all the ups and downs of a season. All this in a challenging and realistic game world. Ultimate Baseball GM is completely free and playable offline. Play on the go or as you want and when you want. It's basically the Jerry Dipoto simulator. So instead of saying chills, Dipoto did it again. You can now say chills, I did it again. Download it now, and Locked On Mariners listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up on the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM, start your dynasty today. If you're out and about tomorrow, you can catch the Mariners of the Pirates on the Mariners hometown broadcast with SiriusXM via the SXM app. And thank you for making us your first listen here after the Mariners 5-0 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is the Locked On Mariners postgame show. And shame on me for not mentioning Castillo's last inning in this one. Was a little bit surprised considering how the command was starting to tail off on the fastball in the 5th inning to see him out in the 6th inning. figured with kind of a big-ish lead. They were up, I believe, 4-0 at the time. Maybe it was 5-0 by that point. That Scott would just go to the bullpen, but um, Castillo was fantastic in that inning. Yeah, just great stuff. He really put an exclamation point on this start with that. So again, great outing for Castillo, and this was a great outing for this Mariners offense as well. Again, just flipping the script on this Pirates team. All Mariners all afternoon long. 5 runs on 11 hits. They had, let's see here, they had 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 hard hit balls on the afternoon, and they jumped all over Pirates starter Vince Velasquez, who only goes 2 innings. He was activated from the injured list today after landing on it with right elbow discomfort, and he left today's game with right elbow discomfort. So that's a bit of a concern for the Pirates. But the Mariners certainly benefited because Velasquez was not necessarily on his A game, missed his spot a bunch, and the Mariners took full advantage of it. Their top 4 in their lineup today went a combined 7 for 15, with 7 of those 10 hard hit balls, 5 extra base hits combined, 2 RBI, 1 walk. Just a great day for JP Crawford, Ty France, Julio Rodriguez, and Jared Kelnick, especially France. Couple of doubles in this one. And of course, Julio with another 2-hit outing. He looks like Luis Castillo is all the way back as well. His WRC plus now is up to 106 after today's game. So Julio is on the up, and it just continues for him. He's swinging a hot bat right now, and his overall approach just looks a lot better. He's not. It doesn't look like he's trying to do too much as often as he was just a couple of weeks ago. So that's a really positive sign. Teoscar Hernandez with a hard hit ball. He had an RBI in this one, RBI double. Cal Raleigh with the hard hit with one of the other hard hit balls, and then Eugenio Suarez with one of the hard hit balls, which resulted in a flyout. Unfortunately, he hit it at a 38-degree launch angle, 380 feet at 102 miles per hour off the bat, and all he got for it was a trip back to the dugout. So that's kind of brutal for him. He's had a few of those now where he's put good wood on the ball and just hasn't gotten anything for it. But again, great day for this Mariners offense against this Pirates pitching staff, which is not too bad. They can pitch a little bit. Interestingly, Velasquez, of course, wasn't supposed to start this game. When we previewed this series back on Friday, Roansy Contreras, their young, exciting starter, was slated to go in this one. But instead, they went with Velasquez. And for now, it appears that he's just been bumped from his spot in the rotation for this series. And I don't think he is slated to pitch tomorrow. I believe that is still Luis Ortiz who's supposed to go for the Pirates, but that's something to keep an eye on here. Because if it's Contreras, then that instead of Ortiz, that kind of changes the landscape of that game with Marco Gonzalez going for the Mariners. And, as is the conversation every time we talk about Marco, that's going to be a coin flip on what you're going to get out of Marco. So, but this offense right now is swinging it pretty well. So even if Marco gets tagged a little bit, if he can give you one of those performances where he gives up like 3 or 4 runs, the Mariners should be in a pretty good spot. Whether it's Contreras or Ortiz, they should have a chance to put up some runs. So thank you again for tuning in here to the Locked On Mariners postgame show. I've been your host, Trident Gonzalez. We might be back tomorrow. We'll let you know. Keep an eye out on our social channels, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. Keep your eyes peeled out for announcements on there. And we'll catch you next time. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day. Go M's. We'll see you next time. Peace.